on Wicked, what I set out to do was to create such a great production soundtrack that they don't have to re-record anything in post. I truly believe that the original performance, the performance that happened on the day, on the movie set, in the moment, with the actors feeding off each other's emotions, that's when that magic occurs, which is their original performance. We were really talking about how we would deal with the size of this film and the technical challenges that we were going to face and how we would support this wonderful creativity of allowing the actors to sing live on a movie set. We've really pushed the boundaries. It's going to bring an extra dimension to the film. We obviously can't have any music track coming out of speakers when we're recording live. So what we do is we give the actors what we call earwigs, which are tiny little internal IEMs. They don't have any cables. They work on an induction loop system. They're literally so small that you don't need to paint them out. And then on this set here, we've got 80 sets of radio headphones out so that when we decide we're going to go live, you know, the headphones go on and the whole crew can hear the performance that we're seeing visually, but the actual space itself is sterile. There's no background noise, so we get that clean vocal.
And though you protest your disinterest.
So effectively, our movie set is also a recording studio.
You're gonna grin and bear it, gonna need some popularity.
When you have a live vocal, it's like sitting in the front row and you can almost feel the actor's breath on you. And I think there's something about live capture that does that. In this instance, because of Simon Hayes' recordings on the set, which are fantastic. I've worked with him on Les Miserables, so I know him well. They go into it seamlessly from talking to singing.
Think of what we could do together. Unlimited.
I mean, we've often got 3, 4 microphones on people at certain times, and so we can kind of play around until we get the absolute perfect combination.
Because it's not a case of just put the microphone on and it magically records everything perfectly. You know, this all has to be very, very sensitively set up. Ariana and Cynthia's singing voices are very, very different to their dialogue voices. You know, there are massive, massive gains in dynamic range, which means basically they go very, very loud.
Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity. They'll never bring us down.
In Elphaba's hat, we've got a microphone in the brim of the hat hidden. It's about the most perfect microphone I've ever rigged on a film, and it's closer than a boom could ever get on a close-up, but because it's stuck in the brim, there is no clothing rustle, so it's basically perfect sound. In this scene, Elphaba doesn't put the hat on until halfway through the song, so we're going with the first part of the song on one of the 2 radio mics she's got under her costume, but the moment the hat goes on and her hands leave the hat, I quickly switch across to the hat just to get slightly purer sound.
Gravity, and you can't pull me down.
And the next step then was to watch the movie when it was in its first sort of cut. Jon comes in and guides.
So I think we should start bringing the music down a little bit. She does like a breath, like a, I would just hit those effects just a bit more. But then it was underscored.
The heart of the film was right there, you know, and everything that he had discussed with me was up on the screen. So I knew that our job was to protect that and to make sure that that came through in every way possible.
You know, ultimately, we're here to tell the story. We're here to help the director realize his vision. Every detail has that same goal. So when Jon says the crowd needs to giggle a little bit here or applaud a little bit here, the amount of footsteps, the things that you don't think about when you're watching the film, but they're all very intentional. It's all motivating the characters. And we're in the final mix process. We get to put all those elements together: Foley, backgrounds, vocals, dialogue, ADR, loop group, and just mold the whole thing into one actual soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a very additive kind of process. We have the image to help communicate something, but we need to be able to tell the story with sound. It seems to be more about the simplifying and the paring down and the minimalizing and just giving the audience room through sound to own these moments and let their imagination go, as opposed to telling them what they're supposed to feel, when it's so much more powerful to let them come to those realizations on their own. So I'm thinking in a film like this that's so grandiose and so huge, we're looking at these giant sets, but we're really looking at some very small, specific sounds that are telling the story, but it feels big. That's just because they're so emotionally charged.
It's all about emotion, and that's always the connection, and we always have to search for that in sound.
We all realised that we were making something special. I think that the cinema audience feel that, they believe it, and they engage with it.